The vastness of space was quiet. Stars shone faintly in the distance, and the Battlestar Galactica drifted calmly through the void. Commander David Harris stood at the bridge, staring at the radar screen. He had seen many strange things in his years of service, but nothing like this. Massive alien warships were appearing near the outer colonies. Their shapes were unlike anything humans had built. They were sleek, dark, and glowing with strange energy. "Commander," Lieutenant Emily Foster said, pointing to the screen. "They're moving fast, and their weapons are unlike anything we've faced." Her voice was calm, but her eyes were wide. She had spent months studying alien signals, and this was different. Dangerous. Deadly. David nodded. He felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He had prepared for battles before, but there was a weight in the air that he could not shake. Humanity had never faced such an enemy. The colonies were small and vulnerable, and if the aliens attacked, millions of lives could be at risk. "Alert the fleet," David ordered. "We need all hands ready. Every ship, every fighter, every station. Prepare for combat." On the bridge, the crew moved quickly. Soldiers checked weapons. Engineers monitored systems. Scientists ran calculations trying to understand alien energy patterns. There was fear in the room, but also determination. Fear could not stop them. Humanity had survived disasters before, and it would survive this one too. Emily focused on the radar. The alien ships moved in strange formations. They were fast and precise, almost as if they were reading the humans' thoughts. "Their patterns are unusual," she said. "They're not attacking yet. I think they're studying us." David frowned. "Studying us?" "Yes," Emily replied. "They may be testing. Seeing what we can do. We have to be ready for anything." The Galactica crew worked tirelessly. Engineers repaired damaged systems from previous patrols. Soldiers ran drills to prepare for boarding or defense. Scientists analyzed alien transmissions, hoping to find weaknesses. Even the youngest cadets on board found tasks they could do. No one stood idle. Everyone had a role. Meanwhile, outside the ship, the alien fleet grew larger. Ships that dwarfed human vessels moved silently, their engines glowing like small suns. The closer they came, the more humans realized that these were not explorers or traders. These were warriors. They had come with one purpose: to dominate. Commander Harris knew that the battle ahead would test everything humanity had. Not just technology, but courage, intelligence, and unity. He turned to Emily. "Do we have any idea what their weapons can do?" he asked. Emily shook her head. "Not fully. Their energy beams are unlike anything recorded. But from what we can see, their shields are strong and their attack patterns are coordinated. If they hit a colony directly, it could be catastrophic." David clenched his fists. He would not allow that. He would protect humanity no matter the cost. "Then we need to think ahead. We need to be smarter, faster, and braver than they expect. We've survived before when others thought we couldn't. We will survive now." The bridge crew nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Fear was still there, but it was tempered with resolve. Panic had no place here. Every person had a job, every person mattered. In the observation deck, a young engineer named Lucy Carter watched the stars. She had grown up hearing stories of human courage, of battles fought against impossible odds. She now felt a sense of pride. Humanity was small in the universe, but it was clever, resourceful, and united. And that made them dangerous, even to an enemy that seemed unbeatable. As the Galactica moved closer to the alien fleet, communication officers tried to reach them. There was silence. No response. Only the slow, deliberate movements of the alien ships. It was clear, they were not here to talk. They were here to dominate. David paced on the bridge. "We need a plan," he said. "We cannot let them reach the colonies. We have to show them that humans are not weak. That we are strong and willing to fight." Emily studied the data. Their formation is tight. But they're predictable in a way. If we can analyze their movement patterns, we can find a weakness. We can strike smart, not just hard. David nodded. "Good. Prepare the strike teams. Fighters, support ships, everything. If they attack, we'll be ready. If they hesitate, we'll force their hand. Humanity will not bow to fear." Hours passed. The tension on the bridge grew. Every crew member was aware that history was about to be written. No one spoke unnecessarily. The only sounds were the hum of machinery, the quiet clicking of keyboards, and the occasional alert beep. Then on the radar, a new signal appeared. A small scout ship separated from the main fleet and moved closer to the Galactica. David frowned. "They're probing us," he said. "They want to see how we react." Emily's eyes focused on the scout. "We can't attack yet," she warned. "We need to learn. Observe its behavior. We can use it against them later." David nodded. "Agreed. But be ready. If it shows hostility, we strike immediately. No hesitation." The crew continued their preparations. Pilots ran simulations. Engineers checked every system twice. Soldiers practiced emergency drills. Even in the face of fear, humans worked together. That was their strength. That was what the aliens had underestimated. By the time the scout reached striking distance, humans were ready. And when the first small engagement began, it would not be chaos. It would be precise, coordinated, and deadly. The aliens had assumed humanity was weak, disorganized, and afraid. They would soon learn how wrong they were. And in the heart of the Galactica, Commander David Harris looked at the stars and silently made a promise. Humanity would survive. Humanity would fight. Humanity would make the aliens fear them. The vastness of space was no longer quiet. Somewhere among the stars, humanity's courage was awakening, ready to meet the challenge that loomed. The first battle had not yet begun, but the stage was set. And when it did, the aliens would see that humans were not prey, they were hunters. The edge of the solar system was quiet, but only for a moment. Suddenly, alien energy beams sliced through space, glowing bright against the dark void. Explosions erupted in the distance as some of the smaller human ships were hit. The Battlestar Galactica rocked slightly from a nearby blast, and alarms echoed through the corridors. Captain James Parker gripped the controls of his fighter. Sweat ran down his forehead, but his focus did not waver. He guided his ship through the flashing beams of alien energy, twisting and turning with skill born from years of training. Behind him, the rest of his squadron followed his lead, moving in perfect formation. They were fast, coordinated, and determined. "Keep tight. Watch your angles," James shouted over the comms. His voice was steady, even though the tension on the bridge of the Galactica was thick. Fighters dodged, shot back, and disappeared into the darkness, striking where the aliens least expected. The humans were clever and unpredictable. That was their advantage. Inside the Galactica, Dr. Anna Mitchell worked at her console. Her eyes scanned data streams from sensors that tried to read alien shields and weapon patterns. "They are strong," she said aloud. "But there's a rhythm. Their shields rise and fall in a cycle. Their attacks come in repeated bursts. They are very strong, but they are not perfect." Commander David Harris leaned over her shoulder. "Meaning?" Anna tapped her screen. "It means we can anticipate. We can find a moment to strike where they are vulnerable. We just have to time it right." David nodded. "Good. Coordinate with the squadron. James, relay their position and shield patterns. Strike when they are weakest. Do not waste shots. Hit where it counts." James adjusted his fighter, ready to act. The alien fleet loomed closer, and their massive ships blocked out starlight. They moved like a single organism, but humans were something they had never faced before. Humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable. That combination made the aliens uneasy. In one small skirmish, a human fighter dodged a wide energy beam that tore through space where another ship had been. Lieutenant Emily Foster, monitoring from the bridge, calculated the angle. If James keeps moving this way, he can pass through their blind spot and fire directly at their shields. Timing is critical, though. One wrong move. "Understood," James replied. He accelerated. The stars stretched into lines as his fighter zipped between alien vessels, weaving through glowing beams. With a precise shot, he fired a concentrated energy pulse at the alien ship's shield. The shield flickered, then collapsed in one small section. Another pulse followed, striking the hull. The alien ship shuddered and pulled back, forcing the other ships to adjust. "Impressive," Dr. Anna said quietly. She scribbled notes. "Their formation is breaking. They did not expect this." The aliens were not used to enemies who could fight back so intelligently. Their initial arrogance began to fade. Fear, a new and foreign feeling, began creeping into their command. The humans were dangerous. They were not just fighters, they were thinkers. Every move, every calculation seemed to anticipate the alien attack. Back on the Galactica, soldiers and engineers watched the battle through large viewing screens. Young cadets held their breath, cheering silently when human fighters scored successful hits. Everyone was focused, working in unison. The human crew had one shared thought: they could survive no matter how advanced the enemy appeared. James and his squadron continued to strike. They darted in and out of the alien formation, hitting the vulnerable spots Anna had identified. The aliens tried to regroup, but human coordination was too clever. One fighter would lure them, another would strike, and a third would flank. In every move, human creativity shone. Suddenly, an alien vessel fired a massive energy blast directly at James. His fighter shook violently. He felt the controls resist. "I need cover," he called over the comm. "Form up on me," James shouted to his squadron. Fighters swooped around him, drawing fire and creating openings. Another pilot, Lieutenant Mark Bennett, took a shot at the alien vessel from a blind angle. The energy pulse struck, and the alien ship's engines sputtered. It drifted for a moment, then powered down. The alien command grew frantic. Their ships moved in erratic patterns, unsure how to respond. The humans were clever, coordinated, and fearless. They had turned a simple skirmish into a test of alien nerves. Inside the Galactica, Anna worked quickly. "If we can keep this rhythm, we can force them to retreat. Their shields are weakening faster than I predicted. Their formation is breaking down." Commander Harris leaned over the console. "Then that is our plan. Push them back. Protect the colonies. Show them that humans are not easy prey." Outside, James continued his maneuvers. His hands were steady, his mind focused. Each attack was precise, each move calculated. Even when lasers tore past his cockpit, he did not panic. Human skill, courage, and quick thinking were more powerful than the alien weapons in that moment. Other fighters joined the battle. Lucy Carter, the engineer, guided drones to support the squadron. Small automated ships zipped between alien vessels, disrupting their systems. The aliens had no answer for human ingenuity. The battle lasted hours. Beams of energy streaked across space. Explosions lit the void. Yet, human ships moved like a single, intelligent organism. They were coordinated, clever, and unafraid. The aliens, who had assumed humans were weak and disorganized, now realized that they were dealing with a serious enemy. By the end of the skirmish, the alien fleet had pulled back slightly. Several of their ships were damaged, and one small fighter had been destroyed by careful human strategy. The humans had survived the first contact not because of raw strength, but because of intelligence, courage, and unity. On the bridge, Commander Harris exhaled. "Good work, everyone. We've shown them we are not afraid." Emily nodded, still scanning the radar. "They are retreating, for now. But they have learned something new. We are dangerous to them." James landed his fighter on the Galactica, exhausted but satisfied. "They underestimated us," he said. "And they paid for it." Anna smiled faintly. "This is only the beginning. They will come back, but we are ready. We've seen their weaknesses and we will prepare." David Harris looked out into the dark expanse. Stars twinkled as if watching silently. Humanity had survived its first real battle with the alien fleet. They had learned that courage, cleverness, and teamwork were more powerful than fear. The aliens had thought humans were weak and predictable, but the first contact had taught them otherwise. Humans were not prey. Humans were fighters. And from this day forward, the universe would have to learn to respect, and fear, the ingenuity of humanity. The alien fleet had grown cautious. After the first skirmish, their confidence was shaken. They had assumed humans were weak, slow, and predictable. But humans had fought back with cleverness and courage. And now, humanity was ready to take the next step. Commander David Harris stood on the bridge of the Galactica, staring at the enemy positions on the holographic display. "All units, prepare to engage," he ordered. "We've learned their patterns. Now it's time to turn the tables." Lieutenant Mark Bennett tightened his grip on the controls of his fighter. He had flown through countless drills, simulations, and real battles, but this would be unlike anything he had faced before. Around him, other pilots checked systems, ran final diagnostics, and exchanged quick nods. Fear was there, but it was small. Courage and determination filled the rest of the space. "Mark, remember the plan," Captain James Parker said over the comm. "We go through the center, disrupt their formation, and create openings for the rest of the fleet. Timing is everything." "Yes, sir," Mark replied, focusing on the display ahead. The alien ships were massive, moving with precise coordination. But humans had learned to read their movements. Engineers like Lucy Carter had worked night and day to enhance the fleet's systems. The Galactica's main cannons hummed with new power, and drones buzzed around the human ships, ready to aid in attacks. The humans advanced. Fighters zipped between massive alien cruisers, weaving in and out of beams of energy. The drones followed, distracting and confusing the enemy. From the bridge, David watched with satisfaction. Every move was calculated, every strike deliberate. Mark led a small squadron straight into the enemy lines. The alien ships fired at them, but humans were quick. They twisted through narrow gaps between the ships, shooting precise energy pulses. One alien cruiser faltered when Mark's pulse hit its shield at a weak spot identified by Dr. Anna Mitchell. Sparks of energy danced along the alien hull as it shuddered. "Excellent," Anna said, watching the display. "Their shields are failing faster than I expected. They're not ready for this." Lucy Carter operated the systems that amplified human firepower. A low hum filled the control room as energy surged through human ships, making their weapons stronger than ever before. "This should give them a shock," she said, her eyes focused on the controls. The aliens tried to react. Their ships shifted, forming tighter formations, but it was too late. Human attacks were coordinated in a way they could not predict. Fighters darted through openings, drones sabotaged systems, and energy pulses struck weak points simultaneously. Chaos spread through the alien fleet. On board the Galactica, soldiers watched the fight unfold. They saw the small victories, the alien ships faltering, and the humans holding their ground. Excitement mixed with tension. They had learned quickly, and now they were striking back with force. Mark Bennett's squadron darted around a massive alien battleship. Its shields glowed brightly as energy beams crossed the void, but Mark anticipated every move. He led his fighters in a pattern designed to confuse the enemy, and then at the perfect moment, fired a concentrated strike at the ship's core. The cruiser shuddered, smoke trailing from its sides. It could no longer keep pace with the fleet. Captain Parker's voice came over the comm. "Good work, Mark. All units push forward. Keep the pressure on. They cannot adapt fast enough." David Harris looked at the holographic map. Human fleets were moving from hidden positions, emerging like shadows from the dark. Ships that had been waiting in hidden sectors now struck from unexpected directions. Alien sensors were overwhelmed. They could not track every human ship at once. Emily Foster pointed to a cluster of alien cruisers. "If we can force them into a narrow corridor near the asteroid field, we can trap them. They won't have room to maneuver, and our fighters will dominate." David nodded. "Do it. Mark, guide them into the trap. Anna, Lucy, coordinate with the main fleet. This is our chance." Mark's squadron raced toward the asteroid field. Alien ships followed, not realizing the trap. Human drones moved ahead, blocking sensors and creating false signals. The aliens entered the narrow space, and suddenly, every human ship had the advantage. Energy pulses struck from multiple angles. Fighters darted around, hitting vulnerable spots. The alien formation was breaking apart. Inside the alien command ship, confusion and fear spread. Their leaders barked orders, but their ships could not respond fast enough. Every human move seemed to anticipate their reaction. They had expected weak, panicked humans, but instead they faced smart, coordinated, and courageous warriors. Back on the Galactica, David allowed himself a brief smile. Humanity's tactics were working. Years of preparation, intelligence, and teamwork were paying off. Humans had turned defense into offense. Mark Bennett's squadron continued to strike. His ship weaved through enemy fire, dodging and weaving with perfect timing. Another energy pulse hit an alien cruiser, forcing it to drift away from the main fleet. "They're falling apart," Mark said, voice tight with focus. Lucy Carter monitored the energy systems. "Amplifiers holding. Weapons output is stable. Keep going." Human ingenuity shone through. Drones disabled enemy communication systems. Small attacks from hidden angles forced alien ships to split up. The aliens tried to regroup, but humans were too fast, too clever. Each move was calculated, each attack precise. Emily Foster guided the main fleet through narrow spaces, making use of the terrain. Asteroids, gas clouds, and debris were all used as tools. The aliens had never seen this. They had relied on technology alone, but humans relied on intelligence, teamwork, and quick thinking. Hours passed, but the battle did not slow. Humans pressed forward, striking where it mattered most. Every victory was small but important. Every alien ship damaged reduced their ability to fight back. The tide of battle was clearly turning. Inside the Galactica, Anna Mitchell reported, "We've analyzed the entire fleet. Their shields are failing, their formation is broken, and morale must be low. If we continue, we can push them out completely." Commander Harris nodded. "Then we continue. Push forward but stay careful. Precision is more important than speed. We can win this without unnecessary losses." Mark's squadron executed one final maneuver, cutting through the remaining alien ships. Fighters hit weak points, energy pulses struck vulnerable shields, and the aliens finally began to retreat. One by one their ships pulled back, trying to escape the trap they had walked into. Captain Parker's voice came over the comm, "All units regroup. The enemy is falling back. Excellent work." David Harris allowed himself to exhale. Humanity had struck back. They had shown the aliens that humans were not easy prey. They were clever, brave, and unpredictable. The first battle had tested them, but this strike had proven their strength. Emily Foster studied the radar. They are retreating, but they have learned something today. We are dangerous to them. Mark landed his fighter back on the Galactica, exhausted but proud. We've done it, he said. We've shown them humans are more than they expected. Lucy Carter smiled faintly. This is only the beginning. We've tested their limits and they felt it. Now they will think twice before attacking again. David Harris looked out into the vastness of space. Stars twinkled faintly, but to him they looked like witnesses to humanity's courage. The humans had fought smart, struck boldly, and shown the aliens that they were not weak. The aliens had learned a new lesson. Humans were not predictable, and humans were not to be underestimated. They had faced a foe that was not only brave but clever. And from this day forward, the universe would know that humans could strike back with force, intelligence, and courage. The alien fleet was trapped near the gas giant. Its massive swirling clouds glowed orange and red as the Galactica and the human fleet moved into position. Commander David Harris stood on the bridge, watching the enemy ships through the large observation window. The aliens were strong, but they were cornered. Their options were few and their confidence was shaken. "Commander," Lieutenant Emily Foster said, pointing to the holographic map, "we can guide the fleet through the narrow space lanes between the gas giant's rings. The aliens cannot follow as easily. We can force them into positions where our weapons will have maximum effect." David nodded. He knew this was the moment humanity had been preparing for. They had trained, studied, and fought long enough to seize this opportunity. "Prepare the final weapon," he ordered. "Lucy Anna, make sure all systems are ready. We will show them what humans are capable of." In the engineering bay, Lucy Carter and her team worked quickly. The final weapon was a combination of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology. They had adapted energy amplifiers, targeting systems, and shield disruptors into one powerful system. Lucy's hands moved over the controls with precision. "All systems green," she reported. "Ready on your mark." Captain James Parker sat in his command fighter, coordinating the fleet. Pilots and squad leaders followed his instructions carefully. "We move through the lanes slowly and steadily. Mark, lead the first wave. Emily, guide the fleet from above. Timing is everything. One mistake and the enemy could escape or strike back." Mark Bennett's fighter soared ahead, weaving carefully between massive asteroids and the swirling rings of the gas giant. Alien ships tried to follow, but the narrow paths slowed them down. Emily Foster's calculations were precise, guiding each human ship to a position that would maximize the effect of the final weapon. "Steady," David said, his eyes fixed on the fleet. "Now we strike." Lucy activated the weapon. A low hum filled the ship, and then energy surged outward in a controlled but overwhelming force. The blast targeted the alien fleet in a pattern that exploited every weakness the humans had discovered. Shields flickered and collapsed. Hulls shuddered as systems overloaded. One by one, alien ships were disabled. The aliens had never seen anything like this. Their weapons fired, but the humans had anticipated each move. Drones and fighters moved in perfect coordination, striking at gaps in the enemy defenses. Alien commanders barked orders, but it was too late. Panic spread through their ranks. James Parker's squadron darted through the chaos, hitting critical points on ships that had survived the initial blast. Mark Bennett piloted his fighter skillfully, dodging retaliatory fire while directing attacks that forced alien vessels to drift helplessly. Even small ships were able to disrupt larger cruisers by hitting weak points identified by Anna Mitchell. Inside the Galactica, the crew watched with tense excitement. Every success was measured and deliberate. Engineers monitored energy outputs, ensuring the weapon remained stable. Soldiers stood ready in case alien ships attempted to board. Every human on board understood the importance of this moment. Humanity was making its stand and they would not fail. The gas giant's rings shimmered as energy pulses from the final weapon swept through the alien fleet. Ships shuddered, engines died, and some drifted helplessly into the giant's atmosphere. Those that could still move tried to escape, but human fighters blocked their paths. Every move was calculated, every strike precise. Emily Foster guided the fleet expertly. She calculated the paths of the remaining alien ships and predicted their evasive maneuvers. "They're trying to regroup," she said. "We can't let them escape. Mark, intercept them at point 72. James, cover the rear." Mark's fighter accelerated, weaving through enemy fire to intercept the retreating ships. He fired carefully timed energy pulses that forced the alien vessels to spin out of control. Other fighters joined him, surrounding the remaining ships and leaving them no choice but to flee into deep space. The aliens had expected humans to panic, to run, to be destroyed easily. But they had underestimated human intelligence and courage. They had not counted on teamwork, strategy, and quick thinking. The humans had turned defense into offense, surprise into strength, and fear into precision. Commander Harris allowed himself a small smile as the last of the alien ships fled. The galaxy was quiet again, but the humans had changed it forever. They had proven that they were not weak. They were not prey. They were a force to be reckoned with. Captain Parker landed his fighter back on the Galactica. His face was serious, but pride shone in his eyes. "We've done it," he said. "They've learned something today. Humans are dangerous." Mark Bennett followed, exhausted but satisfied. "It's amazing," he said. "We took the fight to them and we won. I never thought we could do it like this." Lucy Carter leaned back from her console, wiping sweat from her brow. "This is only possible because we worked together," she said. "Everyone played a part. Every calculation, every move counted. That's what made the difference." Dr. Anna Mitchell added, "And now we know more about their technology. We can study it, improve our systems, and be ready for the next time. We've learned their strengths and their weaknesses. Knowledge is power." Commander Harris looked out at the gas giant, its swirling storms reflecting the light of distant stars. "This battle is won," he said softly. "But the war is never over. The universe is full of threats, but we have shown that humanity can face them, fight smart, and survive. That is our greatest weapon." The surviving alien commanders fled into the darkness of space, shocked and humiliated. They had expected easy victories and weak humans. Instead, they had faced strategy, courage, and intelligence. They would remember this day. The day humans had not only defended their colonies but had struck back with force and precision. The day humans had shown that they were not to be underestimated. On the Galactica, the crew celebrated quietly. They had survived the final gambit, turned the tide, and ensured that humanity would continue. Pilots, engineers, soldiers, and scientists all understood the significance of what had happened. Humans had faced a superior enemy and had not only survived but had proven their power. Emily Foster looked at the stars, thinking of the colonies they had protected. "They thought we were weak," she said. "They were wrong. Humanity is clever, brave, and unstoppable when we work together." Commander Harris nodded. "And that is the lesson they will carry with them. The universe will have to learn to fear human courage, intelligence, and unity. We have won today, but more importantly, we have shown what humans are capable of." The gas giant loomed large in the observation window, its storms slowly settling. Stars sparkled faintly, but to those on the Galactica, they seemed to shine brighter. Humans had faced the impossible, struck back with precision, and emerged victorious. The aliens had fled, but they had learned something invaluable. Humans were not a species to be underestimated. For the first time, humanity had used not just strength but intelligence, strategy, and unity to defeat a superior force. The final gambit had worked, and the galaxy would remember it. The humans of the Galactica had proven their place among the stars, showing that courage, cleverness, and teamwork were a weapon stronger than any alien technology. The remnants of the alien fleet drifted silently into deep space. Their massive ships, once full of fire and confidence, now floated like shadows, damaged and beaten. Commander David Harris watched them leave from the bridge of the Galactica. For a moment, the stars seemed peaceful again, but he knew it was only a moment. The universe was vast, full of dangers, and humanity had to remain ready. Inside the ship, the crew moved quietly but purposefully. Pilots cleaned and repaired their fighters, engineers ran diagnostics on damaged systems, and soldiers stored weapons and supplies. Dr. Anna Mitchell and Lucy Carter, the engineer, were already examining the technology left behind by the retreating aliens. Strange devices and glowing consoles had been recovered from damaged ships, and the humans were eager to understand how they worked. "We can learn a lot from this," Anna said, running her fingers over an alien control panel. "Their shields are unlike anything we've ever built. If we understand them, we can improve our defenses. If we understand their weapons, we can be ready for the next attack." Lucy nodded, adjusting a small scanner over the panel. "And some of this tech could help us boost our ships even more. We've learned their weaknesses, but knowledge is the real weapon. We need to use it wisely." Commander Harris moved among the crew, observing quietly. He had led humanity through battle after battle, but this was different. The aliens had expected humans to be weak and predictable. They had thought they could overwhelm and destroy them easily. Instead, humans had shown intelligence, courage, and unity. That was the real victory. He stopped at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The gas giant near which the final battle had taken place glowed faintly in the distance, its storms slowly calming. Human colonies, small and fragile, were safe for now. The fleet had defended them with skill and determination. And humanity had learned something even more important: that courage and cleverness could overcome even the most powerful enemies. Mark Bennett, still tired from the battles, joined him at the window. "I never thought we could fight like this," he said. "We were outnumbered, outgunned, and yet, we won. We proved them wrong." David smiled faintly. "We did. Not just because of strength but because of intelligence and teamwork. Humans are unpredictable, clever, and fearless. That's what made the difference." Emily Foster joined them, leaning against the rail. "It's amazing, isn't it? We faced a fleet that thought we were nothing. And now they'll remember us. They'll think twice before attacking again." Anna Mitchell came to join them, holding a small alien device. "There's still work to do," she said. "We have captured their tech, but we need to study it. Every detail we understand will help protect humanity in the future. We cannot grow complacent." Lucy Carter added, "Exactly. Victory is important, but preparation is just as important. The universe won't wait for us to rest. If we want to survive, we have to learn from this." Commander Harris nodded. He felt a deep pride in his crew, in the humans who had fought with courage and intelligence. They had faced an enemy stronger than anything they had known and had come out alive. They had fought smart, worked together, and used every advantage they had. That was humanity at its best. "Humans are resilient," David said quietly, more to himself than to anyone else. "We may be small in the universe, but we are resourceful. We can adapt, we can learn, and we can fight. That is something no enemy can underestimate." The fleet moved steadily through the stars, repairing and regrouping. Supplies were restocked, ships repaired, and fighters maintained. Crew members shared stories of the battle, laughing quietly at small victories, and quietly mourning those who had been lost. Even in victory, there was respect for the danger they had faced. Captain James Parker entered the observation deck, his face still serious but proud. "The aliens underestimated us," he said. "They thought they would destroy us easily. Instead, they learned something new: humans do not give up. Humans fight with their minds, with their hearts, and with everything they have." Emily smiled faintly. "They've seen our courage. And our cleverness. They know we're not predictable." David looked out at the stars again, feeling a mixture of pride and responsibility. The battle had been won, but humanity's journey was far from over. There would be other enemies, other threats. But humans had proven something that day: that fear was not enough to stop them, that courage could inspire action, and that intelligence and teamwork could overcome even the most powerful foes. Back in the engineering bay, Lucy and her team worked late into the night, analyzing alien energy systems and recording every detail. Anna studied the alien weapons and shields, making notes on how humans could improve their own systems. Every discovery felt like a victory, a way to ensure that the next battle would be fought with even greater confidence. Mark and James checked on the fighters, making sure every pilot had what they needed. Even small mistakes could be deadly in the next engagement, and preparation was the key. Every crew member understood that today's victory would be meaningless without readiness for tomorrow. David Harris returned to his quarters for a brief moment, thinking of the colonies they had saved. Families slept safely, children dreamed under starlit skies, and humans had survived another day. It was a simple but powerful thought: the courage and intelligence of a few could protect the many. He thought of the aliens floating away in defeat. They had assumed humanity was easy to crush. They had assumed humans would panic, fail, or surrender. Instead, they had faced human creativity, courage, and determination. That lesson would not be forgotten. Emily joined him, looking thoughtful. "It's strange," she said. "We were scared too. But fear made us alert. Fear made us think faster, act smarter. Without it, we wouldn't have survived." David nodded. "Fear is natural. But what matters is what you do with it." Humans turned fear into preparation, into courage, into action. That is why we won. Anna, passing by the quarters, added, "And now we can prepare for the future. We've learned their weaknesses, studied their technology, and improved our own systems. Humanity will be ready for anything." Lucy smiled, holding up a small device. "We've learned a lot from them and will continue to learn. This battle has shown us our strengths, but knowledge will make us stronger." David looked out once more at the stars. They stretched endlessly in every direction, full of unknown dangers and hidden opportunities. Humans were small, but they were clever, brave, and determined. They had survived impossible odds, and they would survive again. The universe might be vast, but humanity had proven that courage and intelligence could make even the greatest threats think twice. "Today we fought," David said softly. "Tomorrow we prepare. And always we remember, humans are not to be underestimated. We can survive. We can fight. And we can inspire fear even in the strongest of enemies." The crew of the Galactica worked quietly through the night, repairing, analyzing, and learning. Every system, every pilot, every engineer, and every scientist contributed. Humanity had survived the battle, but more importantly, they had grown stronger, wiser, and more united. As the fleet moved steadily onward, David Harris reflected once again on the lessons of courage. Humans had faced fear and uncertainty and turned it into triumph. They had faced enemies who had thought them weak and had proved them wrong. And as long as humans remained united, clever, and fearless, the stars themselves would have to respect them. The universe was full of threats, but humanity had learned its greatest lesson. Survival depended on courage, intelligence, and unity. Humans had fought, humans had triumphed, and humans had inspired a new kind of respect and fear in the hearts of their enemies.